everyone, welcome to this update video this morning. I hope that you're doing really great. So we have what is now Tropical Storm Helene moving across the southeastern states. So Helene made landfall very early this morning in Florida as a deadly category 4 hurricane with peak maximum sustained winds up to 140 miles per hour. And it is a fast moving system. Right now it's moving at a pace of over 30 miles per hour, so it's moving through quite quickly, but it has left a trail of destruction in its path, and it's going to continue to impact the U.S. over the coming days. And then we also have what is now Hurricane Isaac. So Isaac has strengthened into a hurricane, and there are two areas. We have Invest 98L with that high 90% chance of formation, and at any point today it could acquire tropical depression or tropical storm status, likely to not be a bother for anyone. And then the West Caribbean going to the Gulf, highlighted yet again, as we could see something try to form and get itself together within the next several days. Now, as we switch to the satellite imagery, here we can see what's going on. So there we have Helene still bringing its major impacts to parts of the southeastern U.S. As I said, there is Hurricane Isaac out there, not a bother for anyone. Invest 98L, and there is a tropical wave which has entered the Caribbean. So with that tropical wave, it was producing quite a bit of rain in parts of the Lesser Antilles. So you can let me know what's been going on for you. And there is a new tropical wave off the African coast as well. So as this tropical wave propagates to the west, it may help out to increase all the moisture in the West Caribbean. And then we could see that next area of low pressure form, which may try to develop into something. Hopefully we don't get a deja vu scenario of what we have seen with Helene thus far. Here we can see all the shower and thunderstorm activity at a closer view in parts of the eastern Caribbean, and then over towards Central America. It's quite active in some spots as well, with some thunderstorms developing this morning. And as we take a look at the rainfall forecast for the region as we head throughout today, there's likely to be some additional periods of heavy rain in parts of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, maybe in a couple spots in the Lesser Antilles, and the ABC Islands could experience some passing showers as well. So the area is likely to be active with that tropical wave moving through. And then towards Central America, there could be some substantial rain as well in parts of Mexico, Belize, the Keys, Guatemala, Honduras, the Bay Islands, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and even down to parts of northern South America. Colombia and Venezuela may also be quite active with some periods of heavy rain. As we head towards Jamaica, parts of the Cayman Islands, there could be some heavy downpours as well here and there, and western Cuba could also be quite active. And then as we head up to the vicinity of the Bahamas, especially for the northern Bahamas, there could be some additional downpours today as well. But then for the Turks and Caicos Islands, it may not be as active. Going on to the rainfall forecast with Helene over the next 2 days, we can see here that there are these different colorful shadings in parts of the southeastern U.S. So the system could produce some additional heavy rain with maximum totals up to 6 inches, maybe even 8 inches in a few spots as it loiters around. So even though it is quickly weakening, it is still going to be a significant rainmaker and may result in additional flooding across parts of the southeastern United States. Looking at the cone forecast for Helene, here we have it. So as of the 5 a.m. update, Helene has maximum sustained winds up to 70 miles per hour, and we still see that tropical storm warning in effect for South Carolina, Georgia, and even parts of northern Florida. So as the system accelerates up to the north, it's going to slow down this weekend and loiter around for a bit, bringing all of that rain. And as of right now, though, it is moving quite quickly, as I mentioned earlier. So it is accelerated northward at 30 miles per hour. So that's what's going on right now with Helene. It's quickly intensified, it rapidly intensified, but as soon as it made landfall, it's moving through quickly and also quickly weakening because it is cut off from its source of fuel and energy, so it is going to rapidly weaken. However, there have been devastating impacts, especially in Florida, that experienced landfall, and in total there have been at least 9 deaths as a result of the hurricane. So it is a very unfortunate situation here, and my thoughts and my prayers are with everyone who have been affected and who are still being affected by this system. Now, as we move on to Hurricane Isaac, here's the cone forecast for it, and we can see here that Isaac is sustaining maximum winds up to 75 miles per hour, and it accelerates into the east at 12 miles per hour. So it's not going to be a bother for anyone and is expected to remain a hurricane through the weekend, but eventually we can back to a tropical storm maybe by Sunday evening and then become post-tropical as the new week progresses. So as of right now, it is not a threat to land, which is some great news. And again, we have 98L given that 90% chance of formation, and it could become a tropical depression or storm at any point today. And the next name on the list is Joyce. As for this next Caribbean area, 30% chance that we could see formation. So this is a newly highlighted spot since yesterday afternoon. And let's go ahead and take a look at the ensembles to see what they're expecting, starting out with Euro. So we have the Euro ensemble members here, and we can see them, the different clusters here suggesting that we could see a couple of systems out of the main development region. But also for the Western Caribbean, going to the Gulf, we see quite a bit of members suggesting development just the same. So the more members we have really helps to solidify that, hey, there could really be something developing right here. And then as for the GFS ensemble members, we can see a similar story of these different members. Even though they're kind of dispersed, they're showing that we could definitely see something try to get itself together in the Western Caribbean and Gulf yet again. And of course, development will all be dependent on how conducive the environmental conditions are. And we already know that the sea surface temperatures are very, very warm. So here's a look at the map for the West Atlantic, and we can see that in the Gulf, the Caribbean, around the Bahamas, very, very warm waters to support development. But of course, that's not the only factor. Once the upper level winds are also favorable, once there's not a whole lot of strong wind shear, then that's going to result in less interference when these low pressure areas are developing. And once there's also a lot of moisture around and not much dry air intrusion, that will also help out. So those are the ideal environmental conditions: minimal dry air intrusion, very warm waters, little land interaction as well, because if we have an airflow pressure that is constantly on and off land, that's going to limit intensification. So once all of the environmental conditions are ideal, then no doubt that we could certainly see development. And once something enters the Gulf, someone is going to get it. So we'll see what eventually happens though. But models are definitely suggesting that we could have this next area really try to get itself together over maybe the course of the next week, week and a half. But of course, I'm here to keep you guys posted as per usual. And so that is essentially what I wanted to share with you in this update video. So in all, we have 4 systems on this graphic here. Again, Helene, which made landfall as a strong Cat 4 in Florida. And then there's now Hurricane Isaac, not a bother for anyone. Invest 98L, and that new spot we want to watch for some future development, possibly in the West Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico. And so guys, I hope you found this video to be informative, but if you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.